Where does fertilization occur in humans? Explain the events that occur during this process. So it is the process of fusion of a haploid sperm and a haploid ovum to form a diploid zygote. Basically, the process of fertilization is completed in the fallopian tube of the female reproductive system. So there are four steps that are involved in the fertilization process. So those are attraction, penetration of sperm into ovum, activation of ovum, fusion of sperm and ovum nuclei. So the first step is attraction. So during copulation, it means during intercourse, the millions of sperms are inserted into the vagina of the female through the penis. So the sperms swim in the fluid of the female genital tract and they reach to the ovum in the upper part of the fallopian tube where fertilization takes place. So the ova are formed in ovaries. So you can see in the figure. So these are the ovaries. You can see on the both side of the female reproductive system. So these are the ovaries. So the ovaries produces ova which are released into abdominal cavity through a process called ovulation. So basically ovulation is the release of ova. So one mature egg is released from the ovary on 14 to 15 day of menstrual cycle. So this ovum enters the fallopian tube and moves in it by the muscular contraction and ciliary action of the epithelium of fallopian tube. So basically here the ovum secretes a chemical substance called fertilizin, that is a glycoprotein, and also the sperm also produce a chemical substance called antifertilizin. So these are the two proteins that are produced by the sperms and ovum. Okay, so what are the two proteins? One is glycoprotein which is released by the ovum and one is antifertilizin which is released by the sperm. So each species produces specific type of fertilizing and anti-fertilizing and the reactions between them bring about the process of fertilization. So that was about the attraction. Coming to the penetration of sperm into ovum. So basically if we see the human ovum is rounded and non-motile whereas sperm is motile in nature. So the human sperm undergoes several changes so that it may be able to fertilize the ovum. Though millions of sperms enter into the human female reproductive system, but only one sperm can fertilize with one egg. So it means one sperm can fuse with the one egg and it leads to fertilization. So the human sperm they undergoes several changes so that it may be able to fertilize the ovum and this is called as capacitation of sperm. So here the sperm attaches to the surface of the ovum near the animal pole. So as we know there are two poles of the ovum, animal pole and vegetative pole, but this sperm attaches to the surface of the ovum near the animal pole and it starts penetrating the various membranes of the egg. So the acrosome of the sperm that bursts and secretes sperm lysins containing an enzyme called hyaluronidase so that it dissolves the adhesive substance as well as to disperse the cells of corona radiata. So ultimately, with the help of sperm lysin, one sperm penetrates in about 30 minutes. Next, activation of ovum. So here, the consequent to penetration of sperm, the series of changes are brought about in the egg cortex. So the dark cortical granules appear below the cell membrane in the cortex which migrate through the plasma membrane. So these granules get attached along the inner surface of vitelline membrane and make it thick. So the thickened vitelline membrane is called as fertilization membrane, which prevents polyspermy by inhibiting the entry of other sperms. So as I have told you that only one sperm can fuse with one egg. Now the fourth step is fusion of sperm and ovum nuclei. So the sperm entry stimulates the ovum to undergo second meiotic division for removal of last polar body. So usually the sperm head and middle piece enters the ovum through a definite path called copulation path. So the sperm nucleus acts as a male gamete here and the egg nucleus as a female gamete. So you can see here the both gametes are formed. One is male gamete and female gamete. So sperm acts as a male gamete and egg nucleus acts as a female gamete. So the centrioles of the middle piece of sperm from the spindle and nuclear membranes of the sperm and ovum breaks down. So this process of mixing up of haploid sperm nucleus with haploid egg nucleus is called amphimixis. So the fusion product of sperm and egg pronuclei results in the formation of diploid zygote, which initiates the pregnancy in females. So these are the steps that are involved in the fertilization of human beings.